This conference will now be recorded.
Morning all. So yesterday we have discussed about.
Hi sir, good morning.
Hi, good morning. So yesterday we have discussed about attribute controls, status attributes, item statuses, item template, and organization. From today we'll start with transactions. So first we'll start with miscellaneous transactions. So miscellaneous transactions are created when there are any missing or misplaced transactions. Any missing or misplaced transactions. Right. To create miscellaneous transactions. Go to inventory.
In which case the missing transactions will appear. Missing transactions means
Misplaced or incorrect transactions. Meaning the transaction might not have, meaning we have received the stock but we have not created a receipt, or instead of receiving 100 you might have created receipt only for 90, meaning such issues will be there in real time. Or sometimes there is a difference in my physical quantity and system quantity. These are all due to what? Incorrect transactions or misplaced transactions.
but the receiving can happen only against the PO or something like that, right? So the count will not match and
Yeah, that's what. In case if there is any such differences, say misplaced meaning, say we are going to stock the material in our inventory. Due to some reason, what the stock may be what I mean to say misplaced in another locator or another sub inventory, or it might have dropped while traveling. It can happen anything, right?
yeah, the manual damage
So
can happen.
according to my system, if we wanted to make any such, because I don't know where exactly is missing, as you told is correct, we can always receive the goods only when we have a proper reference like a purchase order or an internal order or RMA when we wanted to receive the goods from our customer. but anything can happen, right? Say, in spite of creating, but I don't know exactly from where it is missing. So in order to update the stock levels, I'm going to create this miscellaneous transactions.
So which account will get hit? Accounts, the departments, which departments will take care of these expenses, that loss?
Pardon?
The loss making, it will be paid by the same inventory organization which is creating the miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous transaction, maybe it can be a increase in the stock or it can be decrease in the stock. Always we cannot predict that it is a loss. It
Okay.
is basically for inventory adjustments. Basically, these transactions are created for inventory adjustments.
Okay.
And that adjustment will be taken into an adjustment account. So here, to create a miscellaneous transactions, miscellaneous transactions. This is for which organization? GSS. This is periods are not open for the date entered. Meaning before you start creating the transactions, we have to open the periods in our inventory. So the navigation to open the periods in our inventory is accounting close cycle, inventory accounting periods. So before you start creating the transactions, we must open the periods. So by default, it will be in future status, the current period. So just click on change status to open. This is how we can open the periods. I'll also open even April period.
So we
we
won't
have,
be able to open the backdated periods.
say actually the
Yeah.
point is here when we have created our inventory organization. When we have created our inventory organization in HRMS or yeah, what is the inventory organization? GSS master organization. Here I have given the effective date as 23rd March 2021. So we'll give us the list of only periods from March. If you want even the transaction to be created on my backdated, you might have given the from date as 1st Jan 2021. Then we can start opening the periods from Jan. Since the effective date of this calendar, how can the transactions can be created in previous periods? So it is not possible. So the from which date onwards we can start opening the periods, that totally depends upon the start date of this organization.
So will the status be the previous period status will be closed, or it will allow us to open the periods for February
Actually,
and March or
no,
January?
no. Actually, first of all, those periods will not be visible for this organization.
No, no, not in this scenario. If I give as 1st Jan 2021.
Still, we have to open by default. It will be in future status. We have to open the
Okay.
periods.
Okay.
After opening the periods, now we can start creating the transactions, miscellaneous transactions. This is GSS This here you select as miscellaneous receipt. Miscellaneous receipts. Click on transaction lines. Which item? When I tab it out, it will give us a list of all the items. I guess this is GSS new. And into which sub inventory you want going to make the corrections. Here I'm going to make the corrections in store 1. And how much quantity here? Here may be some 1000. And you enter this account. This is some account. Save it. Now the stock levels are going to increase, meaning when I create an adjustment like this, it is going to increase the stock levels by 1000. Now where I can see the stock levels here is transactions, on hand availability, on hand quantity. You have searched by your item here. Which item? GSS new. Now you can see that the availability is out. Like this, if you want a negative adjustments to be created, where by creating miscellaneous transactions, I wanted to decrease my on hand quantity, then transactions, miscellaneous transactions. Here, miscellaneous issue. You enter the account. Account can be defaulted by mapping the accounts at our sub inventory. Actually, no issues here. Create transaction lines. This is GSS new. This is into my main stores. Some 100 quantity.
Count.
Now again, when I check my stock levels, on hand availability, on hand quantity, item is, now the stock is 900. But if you wanted to know the summary of all the transactions created on a particular item, go to transactions, click on transaction summaries of which item? So total how many transactions are created here? One is miscellaneous issue, meaning if you wanted to know the transaction summaries of all the transactions created on a particular item, so one miscellaneous receipt and another is miscellaneous issue. Like this, we'll be able to see. Now, this is when we are.
Sir, in real time, who will have access to create all these miscellaneous transactions? Not everyone from the inventory department is authorized to do this, right?
Yes. Only authorized people will be able to create this miscellaneous transaction. We can also customize this menu and assign only to those people who are responsible for creating your miscellaneous transactions.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, these type of miscellaneous transactions, if it is received on top of PO, IR, RMA, we can perform, right? Stock adjustment things.
You
If
cannot.
PO is created for 100 pieces, 50 pieces already received. For remaining 50 pieces, we can perform miscellaneous receipt.
No, no, I'm not talking about that. Actually, what I mean to say miscellaneous transactions is incorrect transactions. You might have created a PO for 100 quantity, but you have created a receipt for 100 quantity. But physically, we have received only some 95 or 96 quantity. So the remaining 4 quantity we are going to adjust using this miscellaneous transactions. The reason we cannot make the corrections using PO, RMA or internal order is once we start receiving the goods and invoicing, automatically those POs are going to get closed. We cannot no more longer or longer access those kind of documents. So maybe this is all going to happen because maybe the box which is delivered by the supplier he is delivered as 100 items, but later at some point when we have opened we found only few, I mean it is a few one or two quantity which is less. This happens generally in most of the cases. So that time, in order to update the stock levels, we'll be creating this miscellaneous transactions.
Okay, in such cases, the PO is fully closed or completely closed, and we cannot do
No, no.
any
First of
changes.
all, corrections cannot be possible from PO. Meaning, when do we go for receiving the goods? Is physically when we are receiving the goods from our other inventory organization, or when we are receiving the goods physically from a customer, or when we are receiving the goods from supplier. That time we use the references as PO. That they are not used for corrections or adjusting your quantity.
Yes, sir, my question is if we are adjusting the amount quantity mismatched quantity for 4 quantity, the PO we have manually received for 100 quantity, but actual physical quantity it is only 96, right? What about the 4 pieces? We can get the amount from the supplier, or how we are going to match that one?
Say it is something like I'm talking about inventory, you are talking about profit and loss. Say here, my job is
Okay.
inventory. Are you getting the point here? Say when you have noticed this, the difference at the time of receiving itself, you could have requested, you could have raised in this issue to the supplier, and immediately we'll be able to claim by either a credit memo or we can receive the remaining quantity. I'm talking about a scenario for a long standing. We don't know exactly from which supplier this difference has come, whether the difference is from my internal issue or from a supplier. I'm not sure about it. That is the reason I'm directly
Okay.
updating stocks by creating a miscellaneous transaction. If you have noticed this at the time of creating the PO or at the time of receiving the goods, that time itself we can raise these questions to my supplier. Either we can receive a credit memo or we can get that remaining stock from my supplier.
Correct. Yeah.
Sir, I have one more doubt.
Yes,
So
yes.
we have seen master organization declaration form, right? Effective date as of now 24 March is there, or 23 March. Even we can able to change it to January 1st also, right? 2021.
Before opening
At
the
that
period.
point of time, yeah.
Listen to me. Okay, okay. Let me let you complete.
Okay.
First
So
of all,
is
first
it
of all,
possible to change January 1st directly? Even accounting period is not at all available.
yes, before opening the periods, you can change the effective date. But once after opening the periods, it is not possible for us to change the effective date of the organization.
Okay. Got it.
This is miscellaneous transactions. Okay. Now we'll see sub-inventory transfers. What is this sub-inventory transfers? Sub-inventory transfers are basically used to transfer the material from one sub-inventory to another sub-inventory. Meaning physically, now we have received some quantity in the stores. Now I wanted to transfer this quantity from stores to staging or stores to damaged stores. That time we'll be creating sub-inventory transactions. Sub-inventory transactions again are of two types. This is miscellaneous receipts. Say one point I would like to make, these miscellaneous transactions will not play a major role in real time. Some company will not entertain at all to process any miscellaneous transactions. So I just shown you how do you just make the corrections using these miscellaneous transactions. Say it is not that in real time, most of the times, like we don't entertain the people to process such kind of transactions, because miscellaneous meaning unknown, from whom from where this stock is less. Miscellaneous issues. And check. Check on hand code. Sub-inventory transfers. Sub-inventory transfers again are of two types. That is move orders and move order transfers, sub-inventory transfers. Move order transfers are again physical transfers. Physical transfers, and sub-inventory transfers are logical transfers for sub-inventory adjustments. Now, physically, when you wanted to move the material from one sub-inventory to another sub-inventory, then we'll be creating this move order transaction. Now, to process this move order transactions, move orders. First, you create a move order transaction. It will automatically generate a move order number. When I tab it out, you can optionally give the description about this move order. Transaction is move order transfer or move order issue. Move order transfer, and from which source sub-inventory and destination sub-inventory. So I wanted to move the, meaning I'm going to make a request to stores department to move the material to damaged or staging. And here we enter the details about which item and how much quantity it is supposed to be moved. Here the item is GSS new item, move order transfer, and how much quantity you wanted to move here, some 100 quantity. And here in the destination, it is meaning we are going to move the material to my staging area. Save and approve. Initially it will be in incomplete, and this is my move order number. Click on approve. It is now approved. Now I wanted to physically, meaning just this with this, is it moved? No, it is move order is just a request to my source sub inventory to move the material from source to source to destination sub inventory. So after creating the move order, now once after physically moving the move order, like here we can also generate a pick slip report, move order slip report. Just a moment, like tools. This is to cancel your order. Now go to transact move orders, click on find. Now, according to my inventory organization GSS, I have created only one move order transaction. Select this. Now, here, click on allocate. Or you can just print a pick slip. A request will be generated here to my stores, meaning there will be an in charge for different sub inventories. Meaning this is a request or a report which is sent to my source sub inventory, where the people will take the initiative of moving the material from stores to staging. So this slip will be handed over to, it is still unallocated, and here it is, they are supposed to pick from stores to staging how much quantity. So based on this report, the people in the stores, they physically move the material from stores to staging area. After physically moving the material, they are going to allocate. So it is single allocation, meaning it is we have allocated the material from only one stores. We have allocated the material from only one stores. Meaning if it is allocated from multiple stores, here the allocations will be multiple. Then select this, click on transact. Then now the physical quantity is going to get updated from my source and destination sub inventory. See here, once we transact, here, you can see my on hand quantity. Here, this is GSS new. Here I'm going to expand this organizations. On hand quantity, staging, here we have 100 quantity, and the stores we have 800. So here, as a part of this move order transactions, first create the move order transaction, approve move order, generate pick slip, allocate move order, and transact, allocate and transact.
Normally, the pick slips will be generated based on the move orders. How it will be